everyone, and welcome to Seller Mobile TV. Today we're going to be talking about ranking. That is a huge piece when it comes to your Amazon business. You know, that is so important everywhere from a novice new seller all the way to an experienced seasoned seller. Everyone is always worried about their rank. And there are so many ways to be able to rank on the, there's so many ways to increase that rank. So, one of the things I was reading a couple of weeks ago, it was an older article, but I think it's still very much relevant today, is I think the Wall Street Journal had done a piece on ranking on Amazon, and they said 2/3 of clicks come from the first page on Amazon. So being on that first page of Amazon is so very important. And that is why we've got a very special guest with us here today, Isabella Hamilton. She is the founder and CEO of RankBell, and she knows everything there is to about ranking. She's the queen of ranking, if I may say myself, especially driving organic ranking. And Isabella, I know you've talked about this on lots of different kind of opportunities when you've had to speak, is, your goal is to really kind of help Amazon sellers get to that next level, help them get that extra edge they need, to help grow their brands to, 7, 8, 9 figures, and really stop stressing about financial security, right? So that is kind of where you are coming from. So Isabella, I'll let you take it away, introduce yourself, tell us kind of how you came into this e-commerce world.
Thank you so much for having me. When you were giving me that intro, I felt like, like one of those fabulous actors coming on stage, and you were just about to present me with a Grammy. So I really appreciate the beautiful introduction. I don't think anybody has introduced me so elegantly before.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate that, Queen of Ranking. That's a very big name. And it's also very interesting because we tend to be afraid to stand up to these names that, people give us in a way, because we're not, we are experts because we've been doing it for a while. It doesn't mean that everybody else is not an expert. So I'm always kind of wary of, putting titles, but I do appreciate that so much. And I'm so grateful that you invited me. We connected a few times before, and I just want to say, like, your intelligence and your wisdom and everything is just on point. So, being here with you today is really an honor, Hiba. So thank you so much. How I started my Amazon journey, it's been a while. It's been about 6 years now, and it's been a fantastic journey. And I've started, with barely any knowledge, and that's why I said, having being called an expert, it's such a big name because, we all can become experts if we put in the time and effort and we're very consistent. So when it comes to me, I think I was just very consistent about learning about Amazon and really being intrigued about how the algorithm works, how the company works, how the founder has brought it to such immense levels of just greatness that really attracted me. I have always been really mind attracted by these people who really took something from nothing and brought it to this mega level. So even having this tiny little piece of Amazon really gives me such an honor and pleasure. And just like you mentioned when you introduced me, my goal is to help Amazon sellers, because a lot of Amazon sellers come on and on Amazon and they are quickly disappointed when things don't go their way. They may have watched a course that somebody presented, and courses are good, but they're just a course. There's something that you learn, but you have to kind of create your own way with Amazon. You cannot take everything they said and apply it to the exact, because everybody else who has taken that course has done the same thing. So one example that comes to mind is some of these courses, they teach future Amazon sellers that they have to maybe research a product that's between like $10 and $20. Just giving an example. It may not be the case, but when you do that, when you become so specific about that, then everybody else is doing the same thing. So now you're already competing, you're competing with all these people who are already on Amazon, but you're about to compete with all these fresh new sellers who are going to pretty much get the same product as you between 10 and $20. So, courses are there as a learning curve, and just be aware of what you're learning and what you're applying. Don't go exactly for word by word in what they say.
Because then you're limiting yourself, you're limiting your scope and your potential. So you're already going sort of down that rabbit hole where if you would sort of put your head up and looked at a bigger picture, you would find something that other people aren't doing. Agreed.
Exactly. And I understand what the courses are, because they do want to give somebody a guideline, because these people are brand new. So I understand the need of the guideline, but us as the students from home, we have to be aware that it's not all black and white. Like, be open-minded and research other categories. It doesn't have to be just between $10 and $20, because Hiba, you'll be surprised how many sellers come to me with the exact same item. And it's, there's only so much you can do, and there's only so many people that can be on page one, and then you're competing with your peers, you're competing with the same people. So and I found, in my opinion, and we'll probably get to that later on into this podcast, but I found that usually products that are a little bit more expensive are the ones that don't have as much competition. They get ranked easier. You don't have to invest so much money. Yes, your product is already expensive, so you are already paying a lot more than somebody that sources a product for $10. But I found that they're usually, they rank faster, and they usually can get a better profit in. But it all depends on how much money you have to start with. So
that's a great transition into kind of ranking, right? Because that's all we're talking about today is ranking. So in your opinion, having worked with Amazon sellers, how long do you think it would take to rank a new product on Amazon on page one?
Yeah, so this question I get a lot from my clients, and it depends on how long and how aggressive the campaign is. So is your product super competitive? If it's super competitive, of course you will have to do a much more aggressive campaign. So when I say competitive, think of phone cases, think of supplements, think of all these items that can get you a very big income, but also everybody else wants to tap into that. So if we're doing a product that's, let's say, over $100, I have seen that product rank within the first week. So again, it depends. If the product is phone cases, it may take you a whole month of aggressive campaigns, and of course, your PPC campaign as well, and your ranking campaign. So if I were to give just a general idea, I would say between a week and 30 days. If your product is not ranked within 30 days, you have to look at what you're doing wrong. Are the keywords not suitable for that product? Is your listing not converting well? Because we do see a lot of products getting on page one and then falling because they don't have the right keywords index. They don't have the quality of pictures is just terrible. So things like that. So I would say between a week and a month.
Got it. So you already went into kind of the next piece is what are the most sort of key components of ranking on the first page? So you mentioned the keywords. I think that is huge. You mentioned pictures, so images. What are some other things that you think are really important when trying to rank?
Probably the most important thing that I would recommend everybody do before they start a ranking campaign or any type of marketing when they bring a brand new product is look at your financial planning. And I know it sounds so simple and so easy, but a lot of people forget to have that plan. They're thinking, okay, I got this product from Alibaba or, from India or wherever they source it from, and I got a good listing. I have pictures, but they forget that they actually have to rank this product. They assume because they have an amazing product, which they probably do, I don't doubt it, but they think somebody will just discover it because it's amazing. Well, people don't know your product is amazing until they actually buy it, which is where your listing will convert amazingly. So of course, have an amazing product, but make sure you have that financial plan in place. So if you already, spend 10,000 on your product and listing, make sure that you have at least half of that for marketing purposes. So when I say marketing purposes, definitely a ranking campaign, and definitely PPC, because you want Amazon, first of all, to be able to gather data on your product, because the more data Amazon has on your product, the faster they'll be able to rank you and help push you on the first page. So definitely have the financial plan. If you don't have enough money for ranking, I would say just hold off. Don't even launch yet, because you're going to put that product on Amazon, and Amazon is going to see that it's not selling. And again, they don't know your product is amazing.
So it's actually going to have a negative impact rather than, just waiting until you've got the resources.
Absolutely. The worst thing you can possibly do on Amazon is do nothing. So wait until you have enough money to rank your product. That's the number one. We already mentioned having the listing optimized. Make sure the listing has all the ranking keywords in the description, in the back end. Just have, if you, even if you don't have doubts about your listing, go to a professional. They're not very expensive these days. You can, have a listing optimized for maybe $200-300 from like really top quality experts. So it's a peace of mind. You pay that money, and again, make sure you have this financial plan in place to have this little expenses that are going to come up. But very, very important to have your listing optimized. Optimize your PPC campaign. Analyze your competitors, how exactly they're targeting, and you can do this with different tools that probably Seller Mobile has some amazing tools that sellers can use. If the product is not known, so if it's one of those unique products that Amazon cannot find data on it, then you should just turn on your automatic campaign and catch all, drive all kinds of traffic. But if the product is already known, like let's say a keto product, right? A keto supplement, then you know exactly the words that need to be targeted. So you can just have, you can do your manual campaign or you can do your automatic campaign, but make sure those keywords are targeted. If you are using a software for PPC, they usually do automatic campaigns, and they're very, very good at this because they already study the data, they already study the market, they know the peak times of sales, like in the mornings or Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, those really good days. So if your product is very competitive, I would definitely suggest to go with a software, with a company that knows what they're doing. If you do a manual campaign, you can definitely do that. Just make sure that your bids are adjusted every single day, as I said, for those peak times. Since we're on the same question, I think another very important thing, I'm thinking so I don't forget all these things that are amazing right now with Amazon. Amazon posts. A lot of people are not familiar with it because it's very new, and you can only use it if you have brand registry. But really take advantage of that. And going a little backwards, have brand registry, you guys. Like, have brand registry. I understand it costs $1,000 or somewhere around that, but I assume if you're coming onto Amazon and you want to be a serious seller, that you want to make a good income, you want to maybe sell the brand in a few years, have brand registry. Not only it will help you in the long term, but it will help you now. You can take advantage of all these cool features, like the A+ content and Amazon posts. So Amazon posts, for those who don't know what that is it's like Instagram posts. It's the social media version of Amazon, but you can only see it on mobile. And I think it's still in the beta. That's probably why we only see it on mobile. But hire a VA for $3-4 an hour that just posts every single day. So the more Amazon posts you have on your product, the more Amazon will we'll bring them up and show it to the buyers. And I think it's really fantastic. So make sure you have really catchy posts. You know, if you're selling kitchen knives, make sure they're like lifestyle picture of somebody using it, something really, really catchy. And it's basically like PPC but free. Amazon Post is like free advertising. What do you think of that, Hiba?
Yeah, so no, that's the thing is I think a lot of people have been talking about Amazon Post and they are free and they are in beta because I think Amazon is testing it out now. But you know, from everybody, all the experts that I talk to, it's not going to be free forever. So it's going to sort of turn into that PPC piece that is, and so might as well take advantage of it, might as well learn it, might as well sort of get you to that next level while it is free. And there's no limits on how much you can post. And so, like you said, you know, you can do this every day. Just you can hire someone and kind of sort of keep going and help you. And these are sort of great organic ways of ranking your product. So I think that that is really relevant. So we kind of went into this where you were talking a little bit about, you know, having something really new and unique and different. So in terms of, you know, how difficult it is, you know, if you found a niche and you something very specific, something you see a lot of people aren't selling, you know, how difficult it is to rank that product on the first page if it's so unique and different, and how can you think about that before you go out and source a product?
Right. So those are very good questions. So you can, in my opinion, you can really rank any product on Amazon as long as there's search volume. So if you do have a very unique product and there's not much data on it, it doesn't mean it's not going to sell. It may mean that, you know, maybe people are not really aware of it. So what I would do is actually something that not a lot of people do, use Google Trends. So I would look, so if you're thinking, what most sellers do, this is what they do. They go, let's say they want to sell swimsuit. They go into Amazon and they type in swimsuit, and whatever they see on page one, they're like, okay, this is exactly what I want to sell because this guy is selling $500,000 or something. Well, it doesn't really work that way. And that's how most sellers fail. I would use Google Trends, go in to Google Trends, type in swimsuit, see what is popular, see what it's selling, and then start from there rather than going to Amazon and then to Alibaba. I would see what actually people are looking for. A lot of these products that we see on Amazon are, some of them are inflated. You know, they do maybe huge ranking campaigns, or maybe they get a lot of you know, fake reviews, something that's temporary that makes them, you know, a few 100,000 and then they disappear. And a lot of these sellers are probably from other countries, and they're probably now looking for long-term gains. They're looking for like short-term. And I don't want to say what countries do this because we all know this, but yeah, I would really start with Google Trends, and I think it's very underused, that feature. And I think it's so amazing. Like I was looking the other day for sweaters, and of course the cocaine sweater came on, and I was like, oh my God, I remember this from like a long time ago, but people still search for that. Like how crazy is that? So I would look like, especially if you're trying to sell like seasonal, like see what's trending right now on Google rather than what's trending on Amazon, because that can really fluctuate. So I was looking in toys for Google Trends, and Frozen is still a huge selling item. But then I went to toys on Amazon and it wasn't in that first page. So imagine if you follow that and you do bring like this unique product, just because it's not on Amazon's first page, it doesn't mean people are now looking for it. And you know, people are using Amazon as a search tool. They're using it instead of Google. Like people are Googling things on Amazon.
Amazoning.
Amazoning, for lack of a better word. But I would say that. And you know, actually, if the product it is kind of unique, you might not even need to spend so much money in a ranking. You might be able to rank it in half the time and probably half the cost because of this uniqueness. So I definitely suggest to find products that are a little bit unique, that are a little bit different than what everybody else is selling. Like, you know, everybody's selling you know, garlic presses, since that's like the funny joke going around. But you know, don't sell, you know, sell garlic press, but different than what everybody else is selling. So as I said, you know, if you are one advice that I would give, if you are investing in a product, let's say $10,000, if you want to be aggressive ranking campaign, you want to be on page one, I would say have the same amount for marketing. Say, so if you invested 10,000 in the product, have 10,000 for PPC, for ranking, for listing, all of this. This is aggressive. If you want to go kind of medium, I would say half of that. So people can gouge like the actual pricing when it comes to have a really good marketing plan. So 10,000, $10,000. $5,000, 5,000. So I would say go for 100% when you want to be really, really aggressive.
Awesome. You know, one thing that you had mentioned earlier while you were talking was about reviews, product reviews, right? So especially if you're a new seller, you're a new, you know, or not necessarily a new seller, but it's a new product that you're putting on Amazon. What do you think is sort of that that tipping point is where someone is enough reviews where it creates consumer confidence? What do you think that number is?
I love this question because a lot of sellers, they would ask me like, what is that sweet spot? What is that number? And it's actually lower than they think. So sellers come and they say, oh, I have to have 1,000 reviews. I don't think that's the case. I think for the person behind the computer who's going to buy your product, if they see that you have, great pictures, your listing is really nice, they understand your product, because you want to make sure that they know how to use this product. That's very important. And even though it sounds so normal to say, a lot of people don't do that. You want to make sure that your product, it does what it say it does. And I would say the sweet spot for reviews is about 10 to 20 reviews, actually.
Okay.
Yes, so it's definitely lower than what people would expect. So I have seen sellers make a killing on Amazon with 10 to 20 reviews if they're on first page, compared to somebody that's on second page with 50, 100 and so reviews. Now, again, if you're searching for a really competitive product, of course, the first one will have like 6,000 reviews. It's hard to imagine that you can compete with that. But if you're on page one and you're pretty competitive with that price, your price is made, it's better, the pictures are amazing, you have a really, really good chance of taking a lot of that market buy. Just because they have 7,000 reviews, it doesn't mean that you cannot make money. Of course, in the long term, if you sell this product for a year, 2, 3, 4, or 5, eventually you will gain enough reviews. But I think the mistake a lot of sellers make is they come on Amazon and they think, how am I going to get these reviews? I need to get them right now, because without them, I'm not going to be successful. That is wrong. I actually see sellers with no reviews, Hiba, making money, because the product is good. And sometimes it's better to have no reviews than bad reviews. So just make sure that your product is good. Customer service is so important. And I see a lot of sellers kind of disregard that. They say, oh, that that review is from a competitor and it's not true. But nobody knows. You have to do even if it's your competition trying to do that, always comment on the review, always message them, and say, if there's anything I can do, please let me send you a product for free. Don't ever ask them to change their review, but just have perfect customer service, and always better optimize your product to make sure that you don't get bad reviews from regular people that buy your product.
Because I think what you had said earlier was, the what I have in my head is kind of what that listing needs to translate to, right? So if I'm looking for something and I have an idea in my head, when I go search for it on Amazon, it needs to match that. So when it comes to optimizing your listing, what are the first few steps? Like, what should people focus on?
I think when people go on Amazon, they usually just look. They look first, they read second. So, and it takes them, I forgot the exact data on this, but I think it's like 2 seconds or 2, 3 seconds. when they already make the decision whether they're gonna buy. So I would say if you were limited in your funds and there was only one thing to work on first, I would say work on your pictures. Have lifestyle pictures, have your pictures show the product in use. And even if your product is unique, there is a way to capture that moment. So have lifestyle pictures, now yeah, so have the pictures, then work on your listing. Again, that's very important. Make sure that's optimized, and then upload videos. You probably know this, but Amazon has recently allowed us to upload videos. So really, really take advantage of that. And also, when it comes to reviews, encourage your buyers, those who will, put a review to add videos. It's very, very important because even I do this. When I look for a product now on Amazon, I barely ever read the reviews. I'll go usually to people who have a video, because I'm like, okay, so this is what it looks like. This is what the unboxing looks like. This is how easy it is to put together. I'm all about ease of use with anything. Like, how long does it take me to put this together? If it takes me too long, I usually just skip it. But you're able to see this in videos. So make use of that. We don't know how long. We don't know if this is permanent. You know how Amazon is, and I would say take advantage of it right now. And again, have brand registry. Like, please do whatever you can. If you were to, invest in one thing, invest in brand registry and have a beautiful A plus content. People do look, as I said, they love that pictures. They might not read everything in the listing, but they will see those pictures and make a decision fairly quickly just based on the images.
No, agreed. I think you're right, is because it's so captivating. That's kind of what our eyes are drawn to. And that is what, because I think what from a seller, I think so anytime you're putting something out as a seller, always put yourself in that consumer's shoes, right? You shop on Amazon, I shop on Amazon, everybody shops on Amazon. So we do this every day ourselves. It's about kind of turning off that seller piece, because there's so many different components as a seller that you're looking at, in terms of selling a product, and turning on that consumer piece. Would I buy this product? And if I were, what would I look for? What would I want? Ask friends and family for feedback. Come to people like you who have seen products in and out every day, and they really sort of know what you're looking for, because then you can pinpoint things very quickly. Any other kind of takeaways in the end? What are some sort of absolutely most important things to rank, and how to go about doing that?
Yeah, so I think ranking it's a small part of Amazon, but as we know, it's very important. So it's not very complicated. I think sellers tend to overcomplicate things when it doesn't take this long. Make sure that as I said, you have your financial plan, you have enough money for a ranking campaign. Target the right keywords. You can find what your keywords are from, like, different tools offer this nowadays. And if you don't know, always you're welcome to reach out to people who do know. And I've seen people are very, very, very helpful. They will help you if you're asking for help. So you don't have to be an expert of anything. Like, we're all just starting and we're all learning as we go. So make sure that you have enough money, you're targeting the right keywords, save money for PPC. And I know a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to have a ranking campaign and I'm going to stop my PPC. I say these two work together very well. One, because Amazon is gathering data on your product, which in turn will help you rank on first page. And it's always good to show, it sounds silly, like appreciation to Amazon, because, we are selling on the platform, and, they do make money from PPC. So I think, having that also helps. Make use of all these programs that Amazon offers, like early reviewer program. If you're a new seller, definitely take advantage of that. I know a lot of sellers are scared to use it because they're like, well, what if they give me a 1-star? It stays forever. It does. It does stay forever. So make sure that you have an amazing product to start with. And just keep in mind that, you know, this is not life and death. Like, still enjoy the process, still um, have fun learning. You know, don't freak out right away if something bad happens. I mean, Amazon, it's very sensitive. So I would say don't do anything that's against TOS, anything that raises flags. So even if you have a way to, you know, maybe invite people to review your product, don't go crazy with that. Remember, you know, when a product comes on Amazon first, the rule is about 5 to 10% reviews. So I would say stay very, very conservative when it comes to reviews. There's no product out there that's so amazing that 100% of people will give reviews. It just doesn't work like that. And you can argue that,
It'll raise a red flag.
yeah, and you know, you can argue that with Amazon all day, but you know, their algorithm shows that most people, you know, review about 5%. Actually, it's not even that high. So, you know, don't go expecting, okay, I'm going to have 100 sales and I'm going to have 100 reviews, because, you know, you will get suspended, even though, you know, you had perfect legitimate ways to get this reviews. And you know, I was on Norman's podcast one time, and we were talking about Ryan Seacrest and his secretary, and how his secretary like just blasted Ryan Seacrest's product, but then, you know, it got suspended because so many people bought it and so many people reviewed. So Amazon does not care that you are a celebrity or anything. They look at the algorithm. They don't care where these sales or reviews came in from. As long as they're not according to the algorithm, it's a red flag for them. So, you know, I mean, very rarely you will see a celebrity selling a product, but if you are a celebrity listening to this, please don't go over 5% when you first start.
Well, Isabella, thank you so much for chatting with us. You know, that was so many great pieces of, you know, so much good information. You have some golden nuggets in there. And so folks, if they want to come find you, what is the, you know, if you can consult them, you are a wealth of knowledge. What's the best way for them to contact you?
The best way, you know, just go to my website is www.rankbell.com, or they can find me on Facebook. I'm pretty active there, just Isabella Hamilton. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. But you know, you'll probably see my face here and there, but always reach out if you need to. I talk to different people all the time. You don't have to use my service to reach out to me. So I'm pretty nice, you know. People that I don't know if it's true, but please feel free to reach out to me.
I'll vouch for that. I'll vouch for that. All right, Isabella, thank you so much.
I appreciate your time, Hiba. You are amazing.
Thank you.